I'm back. All right. Starting where I left off with 2.4. I had to rush to finish number 10. Um, but let me just go repeat. Unless is best translated with just the disjunction, the wedge. Now, in the book, he talks about how you can translate it with a conditional as well. Um, it's more complicated that way, and it involves changing the order, and if there's negations, it gets a little more complicated. So for now, definitely the easiest way is just drop in the disjunction for unless and keep the order of everything else the same. Also, this is a both not, so that means not X and not Y. Both not is different from not both, right? Not both means maybe one will go, but not both. Whereas both not means X isn't going and Y isn't going. So be careful about both not versus not both. All right, number 12. Cubs will win only if neither the Red Sox nor the Yankees win. Okay, so only if here is the main operator, and we've already talked about how we symbolize that by just dropping in the horseshoe for only if. So whatever comes before only if goes to the left of the horseshoe, and whatever comes after only if goes to the right. All right, Cubs will win is the first one. Let's call that C. And that's on the left here, so it's going to be C conditional. All right. The consequent here is a little more complicated. It's a neither nor sentence, right? For neither nor, I think the easiest way to think about neither nor is as not either or. In other words, the negation of a disjunction, like that. All right. So either or is a disjunction, not is negation. So not either or, neither nor. It sounds the same, like not either or, neither nor. It sounds very similar. So, and it's easy to remember, not parentheses disjunction. So we have not parentheses disjunction. All right, what's our first disjunct? The Red Sox win. Okay, so R equals the Red Sox win, and Y equals the Yankees win. So it's going to be R or Y. Okay, so again, only if, drop in the horseshoe. Goes to the left is the antecedent. It's just plain old C. Goes to the right is the consequent. That's a neither nor, not either or. All right, number 14. Either Japan or South Korea will be attacked, but they won't both be attacked. All right. So again, the but here is the main operator, right? Which we know is translated with the conjunction. So what comes before the but is the left conjunct, and what comes after the but is the right conjunction. So what comes before is a disjunction, right? An either or sentence. Either Japan or South Korea will be attacked. All right. So J equals Japan will be attacked. S equals South Korea will be attacked. Again, it's no big deal if you use different letters as long as you use them consistently. All right. So either one or the other. So either either J or S. And you should try to stick to the order of the sentence as much as possible. So since Japan comes first, we put it first here. South Korea comes second, put it first here. All right. What comes after the but is the right the right conjunct. Sorry, they won't both be attacked. So this is not both, right? That's what I was just talking about. So not both is the negation of a conjunction, right? It's not the case that this and this. It's not the case that both, right? So not both is the negation of a conjunction. And we don't need new letters since it's saying not Japan and not South Korea. So not both is just not J and S. So either Japan or Korea, South Korea, will be attacked. And it's not the case that both Japan and Korea will be attacked. So we need those two letters. All right. So remember, not both, negation of a conjunction. All right, 16. James arrives at the airport first, then Elias will give him a ride home. But if Kevin arrives first, then Elias will give him a ride home. All right. So this is a conjunction of two conditional sentences, right? So the but is the conjunction. Everything before the but is the left conjunct. Everything after the but is the right conjunct. All right. So then we know our main operator is going to be the and. So let's start by focusing on the left conjunct. So you can see it's an if-then sentence, so it's going to have that form, right? If something, then something else. So what's the first something? James arrives at the airport first. And then Elias will give James a ride home. So that's if J, then E. Okay, that's our first conjunct. All right, that's everything that comes before the but. So now but, that's our conjunction. After it is another conditional, so it's going to have this form. Right? So what are our parts here? K equals Kevin arrives first, right? And then notice the second part of this is Elias will give him a ride home, right? So you might be tempted to say, well, that's what this says too. Elias will give him a ride home, so we can use the same sentence for that. But notice the him in those two parts refers to a different person. So in the first, it refers to James, right? And that's why I wrote James in the sentence specifically. So if James arrives first, Elias will give James a ride home. But if Kevin arrives first, then Elias will give Kevin a ride home. So since it's a different sentence, we need a different letter. So let's call that H. Elias will give Kevin a ride home. So that's a little tricky, and you have to be aware of those kinds of details when you're translating sentences. Even though it looks the same, because the him refers to a different person, it needs a different sentence. Okay, so that's how 16 should look. All right, 18. Neither Iran nor Saudi Arabia will raise the price of oil. Again, neither nor, not either or. So I equals Iran will raise the price of oil. S equals Saudi Arabia. So we've got a pretty simple not I or S. Now, some of you are tempted to write or find it natural to write something like this. Iran won't, it's not the case that Iran will raise the price of oil, and it's not the case that Saudi Arabia will raise the price of oil. And that's okay, because these two sentences are equivalent to each other, right? To say neither nor is to say, to say neither I nor S is to say not I and not S. Neither nor means both of those are false, right? So these are both equivalent to each other, and if you write this, I would not take points off. To me, though, the more natural translation of neither nor, like I said, is not either or, the negation of a disjunction. Okay, so 20, I'm no geography expert, but if Kansas City's in Missouri, then Missouri City must be in Kansas. Now, in general, if somebody said something like this, you might just kind of ignore the first part because it's kind of throat clearing. But it's logic. We want to translate everything. So there's the first part, there's a but, and then there's the second part here, right? So that means we're going to have a conjunction. Whatever comes before the but is a left conjunct, and whatever comes after the but is the right conjunct. All right. So what's the left conjunct? I'm no geography expert. So if you're tempted to write, I'm no geography expert, then you've made a mistake because there is a negation in this sentence, remember? And you're not supposed to translate negations in the symbolization key. It has to be atomic sentences. So what you want to do is, I am a geography expert, right? So then this will get translated as not I, right? So make sure you do not include that no, that negation, in the symbolization key. It has to go with the negation. All right, second conjunct is a if-then sentence. So it's going to be like this. The first, or the antecedent, is Kansas. Let's call this K. Kansas City is in Missouri. And the second is, we'll call it M. Missouri City is in Kansas. All right, so if one, then the other. There's no negations or anything like that. So it's just if K, then M. All right. All right, I'm running out of time. There's two more left. I want to do them quick. Maple trees are deciduous and oak trees are deciduous. O equals oak trees are deciduous. And then I know, I do know something about trees. Again, we don't want to include this not in the translation in the symbolization key. That has to be the negation. All right. Okay, so maple trees are deciduous and oak trees are deciduous, or I don't know anything about. So this is the main operator. It's the disjunction, right? So it's the or. What comes before the or is the left disjunct. So it's M and O, right? Maple trees are deciduous and oak trees are deciduous. Or not I. All right. So this is the main operator, disjunction. Left disjunct is a conjunction, M and O. Right disjunct is a negation. I don't know anything about trees. I do know something. It's not the case that I do know something. All right, last one. Secretariat is the fastest. Whoops. S equals secretariat is the fastest horse ever. R equals red rum is the fastest horse ever. All right. So it's an either or. So our main operator is a disjunction. First part, Secretariat is the fastest horse ever. Or, now the second part, the right disjunct is a conditional, right? If something, then something else. If he isn't, meaning if Secretariat isn't the fastest horse ever, so S or, if not S, then R. Okay, so this is important to include this not S, right? Some people translated this in previous classes as just S or R, but remember, you're translating the sentence. And so it specifically says, if he isn't, right? So that is the antecedent of that conditional. Then red rum is R. So this not S conditional R is important to accurately translate. All right, hope that